Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome in to Winter is Blooming, a Game of Thrones rewatch podcast by us, the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue that rewatch with Season 5, Episode 3, titled High Sparrow, written by D&D, David Benioff, and D.B. Weiss. Been a while since we've seen any other name in that written by column. And directed by Mark Mylod. Ooh, I like Mark Mylod. He directed 2022's The Menu, if you'll recall, with Ralph Fiennes and, that high-end restaurant where people go to and then he ends up killing everybody. It's a really good movie. Strongly recommend. But, yeah, I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And we've got another goodie on our hands. They just keep on coming, man. They just keep on coming.
We're in the golden age right now for Thrones. It just, I don't know. It started off a little slow this season. Not gonna it was a little I expected just to keep riding high off season 4. But they were just laying the groundwork for the season, and now by episode 3, I mean it already seems like they're just running.
Mm-hmm.
Running away with it. So.
We're and like the way that the stuff that they've done an excellent job at setting up the course of the season this year, maybe better than they ever have with any other season, as far as like foreshadowing the events to come and setting up the beefs and really, really emphasizing who hates each other and who loves each other and who's gonna, it's been wonderful character work so far, even if it hasn't been the most exciting. But yeah, we got another goodie. Got another goodie on our hands with only a few locations this week. We got Volantis, Bravos, The Wall, The North, and King's Landing. So I think that's 5. Yeah. So if you are ready, I'm ready to get going.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. So we start in King's Landing, wherein Cersei Lannister passes by a large crowd on her way to the Great Sept of Baelor, and she's getting increasingly annoyed as the people are cheering for Queen Marjorie. Queen Marjorie, not just Marjorie. And Cersei is bothered.
Such a little window, in her car, like a little drape, little thing. She's like, whatever. Can't even look at these people anymore. But not a good episode for her,
No.
Performance-wise, great. But
brilliant.
As far as her
really
character,
good.
she's not liking it. Yeah.
But she's having her season 5 is her prolonged Joker moment. It's already been getting really, really bad. But now this is her breaking point. This is when stuff, and it comes to a culmination in the season 5 finale whenever she's forced to march through the streets naked. But
you're right. It's a very prolonged Joker moment.
There's a moment here in a little bit whenever she's walking out of the room and she can hear Marjorie and all her friends laughing at her. And it's zooming in on her face as they're laughing, and she's walking away, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill all of them!"
Can't wait to blow all of them up. She doesn't know that yet. I mean, maybe she does. Maybe she's thinking it. Maybe she's like, "I just want to kill all of them." But one fell swoop. I don't know.
She's got it like that.
Yeah, but yeah, this is I don't know. She's not liking it right now. Not having a lot of fun.
No.
But.
Not the best time Cersei's ever had, but she's heading to the wedding. We got a royal wedding in this episode. Tommen and Marjorie are joined in holy matrimony, much to the dismay of Cersei, and that night they consummate their marriage. And this is where I got my line very quickly. I went with Tommen and saying, all I want to do is this. all day, every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah. No, weird thing. I was reading the trivia for this episode, and a lot of it's to do with prostitutes in this episode, and then this moment right here. Because in the books, Tommen at this point is 9 years old. They just sleep in the same bed. They don't do anything.
They don't consummate.
Even in the books. Yeah, even in the books, they don't do anything. George doesn't go that far.
That's good. That's good to know about Georgie.
They say in the TV show that he doesn't need. Someone says like that Tommen doesn't need Cersei anymore. That he is of legal age, something like that. So he is 16 in the show right now. So a lot different from 9. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just loved he's like it was all just. It happened so fast, that's like the first thing he said. He's like, it just, I don't know. And then he's like, just going in for another kiss. And she's like,
maybe we chill a little bit.
Rest a little bit, man. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
maybe you drink some Gatorade, bro. Get them electrolytes back up. He's excited, and who can blame him? This would be an exciting time as Tommen.
Yeah. Dude's just been in a castle his whole life, not having I don't know, we haven't really seen him at all before this, and then now he's just the king, has Marjorie, married, wedding very fast too.
Yeah, he explores all that. He's like, it's strange.
Yeah,
I'm the king, and I'm married to the most beautiful woman in Westeros, and it's all because my brother died.
Yeah, what a weird political system they got going,
And Marjorie's like, you mustn't feel guilty. He's like, I really don't. That's part of why it's weird, He's like...
He's honest. Yeah, he's honest,
that's what makes, it's just such a shame that he's such a young kid. Tommen is such a good dude that he has the makings for a pretty decent king, if he were to be groomed by the proper people. Instead of everyone just trying to take advantage of him at every single turn, which is so fucking sad. But he's just such a good little dude,
I feel like if he grew up, he'd be like a Viserys from House
That was
of
exactly
Dragon.
what I was thinking.
Yeah. He just seems just like a good guy. But maybe not strong enough or stern enough for some people as king, whatever. But at least he's not the Mad King and just setting people ablaze and killing everybody and stuff. I'd
that's the thing is that this is I think it's an excellent representation of what would happen as far as this season to a child who becomes king, where, you've grown up in a house that's been we praise this set of gods, this is just what we do. And he prays every night, he does all this, and then he becomes king. And it's well, how can you, what is a very reliable way for people to like you as a king? And it's well, I'll just be pious, I'll just, so he steers completely into the religion realm and ends up handing power over to a pope, essentially. Just super sad, man. Tommen's arc, it's going to hurt a little bit more, I think, watching it week to week and kind of discussing it every time. Because he's king for 2 whole seasons.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Season 6, episode 10 is when he leaps out of a window. So
he's king, but he's never really king.
Exactly.
I guess he gets Marjorie and he gets that sort of thing, but he never does anything kingly, really.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I remember, I don't know, maybe he does. I'm not sure, but I don't remember him really doing much at all other than just handing the power over.
Yeah, not many royal decrees from Tommen, but he's extremely happy to be married and having sex with Marjorie Tyrell. This is all very cool with him. And Tommen's he comments on his mom and how he doesn't know. She hasn't been happy in a long time, he just wants her to be happy. And Marjorie is perfect. I'm going to sink my claws into this motherfucker real quick. What if she shouldn't stay in King's Landing?
Yeah.
As long as he does, or as long as she does, you'll continue to just be her little baby boy. And, he's okay, yeah,
I'm a man now. I just had sex. So actually a man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he did say that. Like, he's like, you'll just be a little boy. He's like, I'm a man now. Like, he like got all big chested and
I
everything.
become a man tonight. He's ready to take his stand, and the next morning, Tommen is not so subtle. And Cersei can see right through it into where this is coming from. But they're out for a walk, and Tommen tells his mother, like, are you happy in King's Landing, man? Is this something you like? And she's like, I just love being around my family. I love you, and that's all I need. And he's like, but wouldn't you be? You told me how much you loved it back at Casterly Rock, and then like this is one of those reasons that like I was tempted to go with Lena Headey because like just her kind of like the way she can like seethe privately is kind of incredible.
Just while holding it all in. She's ready to explode right now.
100%.
Like she wants to just explode, but
she knows this isn't who the object of her ire is. She knows that it's Marjorie she's pissed at, and it doesn't do her any good to blow up on Tommen, because if she does, she'll get sent away to Casterly Rock, and that's the opposite of what she wants. So it's like I just appreciate everything happening in this scene. And I feel really bad for Cersei for the most part, but it's amazing how this show can like they've painted Cersei as like a villain, and more so on this watch than any other have I been more sympathetic to Cersei than I ever have before.
Especially too, I mean this one was. I mean, I was like, man, like it just kept coming, like her just being, in the streets, being like, oh damn, yeah, it's Queen Marjorie now, like fuck, and then like now my own
Tommen
kid,
being
like
maybe
the only good thing she has left, pretty much, like just go home, like don't even be here anymore, I don't really care. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever, she's just like going on from one thing to the next, and then like talks to Marjorie, being like just going at like obviously like I don't know, she's going up to say like congratulations and like if you need anything, whatever, but like I don't know, it's just. It didn't seem like there was any plot at all whatsoever. Like it was just kind of like I feel like
just like
an actual.
We're going I think everything with Cersei here on out is like even her meeting with the High Sparrow later. Right now, it seems like she's building like her super team of terrible people. Like of fascists with like Qyburn at her side and the High Sparrow at the other, and she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna take over, and we're just gonna fash all over the place." But true. Even that backfires. Like it's just all sorts of stuff that leads to Cersei. I'm curious how much the rest of the season involving Cersei is just leading further and further and further into her dark place. Because previously. We saw her daughter got threatened, and that's like the most recent thing that happened before this episode. She sent Jaime off. Tywin died at the end of season 4. Like it's just kind of like a cascade of events that's just leading Cersei further and further into villainy.
Joker moment on steroids, kind of like I don't know, like bigger than Joker moment.
Joker life. But, so deducing that this is Marjorie's idea, after Cersei declines Tommen the invitation back to Casterly Rock, she goes to pay Marjorie a visit, and she finds her, gossiping with the Queen's friends, and is basically, like, goes up to Cersei and is basically like, wow, I fucked your son so much last night. Just what a mother wants to hear, and like, I don't know. Marjorie is very, very confident in her game now. Like, well, she feels untouchable. She is the queen now. Like she's reached the point that she never reached with Renly, or she reached with Joffrey officially.
Oh,
she's there.
She was queen for like for a reception, and then that was it. I didn't even really think about that. Like I was like, oh, she was queen before, but like not really. Like not really for a day. Was all not even a day. But
and that was even what like Olenna told her after Joffrey's death. Whenever she was like, "So am I queen?" She's like, "Well, more than you were with Renly, less than you would have been had he had the courtesy to die after you consummated the marriage." So like. that's like the bar, you know. It's like now that they've consummated the marriage, she's like, I'm his wife. I am the queen, you know, and that's so like she's feeling herself to the max. Her entire plot since season 2 has finally come to fruition. And Cersei's just, you know, not seething in front of Marjorie, but all the people are there, so she's got to be nice. She's the queen now. Just keeps rubbing it in Cersei's face, and seeing herself not succeeding in this interaction, she goes ahead and walks away.
Yeah, almost a line from there that I went with, like Marjorie saying, you know, can we get you anything to eat or drink? You know, we don't have any wine. It's too early in the day for us. And then it's another, you know, camera just on Lena Headey just having to be like, okay, like, all right, you know, like,
it's that queen. Shit she does with like her eyebrow, like whenever she like looks away, like she'll be making eye contact with somebody, and then she'll look down into the left or right and like raise her eyebrow and be like, and like take a deep breath.
Like, some of her best acting is like just her not even talking, like at all. It's just her reactions to everything, and it's like
she's so good, man. Love me some Lena Headey, and she's exquisite from here on in, but just goes to show how good she is and how good she can be. But we then cut to Littlefinger's brothel. Been a while since Littlefinger has been in Littlefinger's brothel, by the way. It's been quite some time. But we see the Sparrows come on in. They're like, yo, you, Mr. High Septon, who is engaged with the prostitutes dressed as the religious deities that he preaches about. Quite the kink on Septon, isn't it?
Yeah.
I choose the mother, and like the guy's like, as always.
Yeah. And then who else
stranger.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you know that is extra, right?
He's like, yes.
You're ruining the immersion, or
yes,
you know.
I'm
like,
trying to have a good time, man.
No,
man.
Not what a Septon's supposed to be doing, as they, you know, swear a life of celibacy or whatever the word. I think that's the word.
Yeah, celibacy.
Yeah, that's a big no-no there. But you know, when you're up there and you're that powerful,
you know, he feels untouchable until there's a group of religious extremists who come on in and torture him through the streets. That's a different thing. You know, he's they come on in and he's forced to walk naked through the streets while the Sparrows proclaim him a sinner.
Yeah.
This is our first shame walk. Walk of shame indeed. And angered by humiliation, he heads to the small council. Thereafter, every time he like covers his junk, they like slap his hands. They're like, no, show everybody.
Get that. And he's just like, oh no, he just kind of just keeps his arms at his sides too. He's like, all right, fine, whatever. Like, oh no, and he's like, his line of defense is like, all right, I'll go to the small council and I'll tell them, I was just found at this brothel, breaking, you know, just one of my biggest vows that I've made, you know, whatever. They should be punished for this. I can't believe.
I loved the I can't remember who like retorts to him, but he says something about how, you know, I preach to the lowly the same as I do the high, and they're like, oh, so you were preaching to this group of devout prostitutes.
And I think it might have been Qyburn. Maybe. Well, I don't know. Because I guess
it seems like such a Littlefinger line, but I know Littlefinger's not there, which is kind of like I can see Littlefinger saying it, but I know it wasn't.
And then Pycelle being like, a man's private, whatever, it should be kept private, you know. And then Cersei like kind of gives him a look like, all right,
good sir, I cannot believe this. Mace Tyrell, just a big old fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's just, you know, he got 2 titles though. He's the master of coin and master of
ships. Ships.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, he thinks he's doing great.
He's living the high life right now.
But, he's doing fine.
And everyone's basically like, go fuck yourself, man. There's like no resolution here except that Cersei says that she's going to go ahead and meet the High Sparrow for herself. And she goes down into the slums of King's Landing and she finds a man, and she tells him that she's looking for the High Sparrow, and he's like, the High Sparrow, such a goofy fucking title, isn't it? It's like King Turtle or something or other.
Yeah.
I don't know. The High Sparrow sounds a lot cooler than King Turtle.
That's
and
way cooler. Yeah, like
yeah,
I don't know. Like I guess Sparrow, yeah.
he's
It
just
is
being
a
humble,
bird, but
you
like
know.
kind of sick. That's a sick name.
Yeah, he's just being humble. He says that like we're often stuck with the names our enemies give us.
Mm.
And I was like, okay. And he's not wearing any shoes, so she asks, why no shoes? I gave them away.
Yeah.
We all do that. Okay.
We just got it like that. And all the meantime, Cersei's like, God damn, it smells so bad in here. She's like, she keeps covering her nose, like just like, ugh. But I don't know.
And it's so interesting to contemplate whether, because he is a religious extremist, so he's automatically, because I mean, like, if you are leading a group of people who are going to torture people through the streets for sinning, this is what we would call religious extremism.
Oh yeah.
So he's automatically not a great guy.
Yeah. Few steps down on the ladder, that's for sure.
Yeah.
At least he seems nice, though. Yeah, no,
and that's my curiosity. That's what I'm intrigued to watch and see if his rise to power is as intentional as it kind of seems, or if it's more that he kind of gets there by happenstance, being in the right place at the right time, and then
I guess it could be more
absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like, is he actually generally just devout in his beliefs and strongly thinks that if you sin, I'm going to punish you? Which is not, again, want to emphasize, that's already not a good thing to do. I'm saying there's levels to this evil shit, and he gets much more evil.
I never really thought of it as like intentional and like if he orchestrated anything. I think whoever the other who they just outed,
the High Septon.
High Septon. There it is. I think that's just like number one on their thing. They're like, well, if our, you're trying to push our religion, whatever, and you don't even stand for it, we're gonna out you, whatever. But then, like at the end of the meeting, like this meeting with Cersei, where Cersei's like, we need to work together. Like we really need to work together, and like right now, it's more important than anything. He kind of gets this like, okay, and I can kind of get behind that, and yeah, I think it is sort of like just maybe it wasn't his initial goal to be like, yeah, I'm gonna basically be the king, and Tom is gonna hand everything over to me. But I think it just he so happened to like this first meeting. He's like, okay, well, obviously I'm getting noticed by the right people,
right?
And like it's going well, and then he just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing, and yeah, I mean when you get that taste
like
of
that
power,
though, for that to be like your announcement onto the scene. You kind of know what you're going for. You know what I'm saying? Like for you to the first person you take down publicly is the High Septon.
Littlefinger doing anything here?
Ooh,
it is Littlefinger's brothel,
right?
And he knows who comes in there, and maybe he's like, hey, yo, I know a guy that comes in here that easy, swing for you guys. Like, I don't know. He is very far away, but I mean, he's getting ravens. He's sending messages. He's doing his own thing, true. I don't know if that ever comes around, but I don't know. It is going to be interesting to watch the High Sparrow a little closer and see if
because they also seem to imply that he's a new arrival to King's Landing. Like
he's like not always
been here long.
Okay, yeah,
which is another interesting thing. So I'm just really interested to see if they ever give us any more insight, because again, I'm with you. Like, while I've always acknowledged this as a important storyline, it's one that I've always just been kind of like, I don't really want to, because it's like it's when everything really starts, like everything's already hit the fan, but like on a scale that will affect every single character in the show, the shit starts to hit the fan this season with the High Sparrow. Like everything in King's Landing ripples out in a really, really bad way.
Undoubtedly, it's an important storyline. Like that's like without a doubt. But like I'm just more interested in like
Yeah.
Arya or Jon.
100%.
Like, yeah,
there's just more exciting things happening with more people that you like. You know, like right now in King's Landing, I mean, you're okay with Tommen because you know he's a good dude, but you don't actively like love the kid. You're not like, oh, this is one of my favorite characters in the show. Nobody's favorite character in the show is Tommen. You know, like that's just not the case. And you've already, like, on the first watch or so of this, you already hate Cersei's guts by this point. So this is kind of that point where you might tune out of the King's Landing stuff if there's nobody there you actually care about. And now where I'm at, I like Cersei a lot more than I ever have on this watch. So like I'm much more intently watching this storyline. So I'm very excited to see it play out. But yeah, she's had the High Septon arrested, and the High Sparrow's like, oh, okay, goddamn, all right, we'll see about it.
Working fluently, or maybe not a plan. Who knows? We'll see. Yep, I'm gonna keep a close eye on that storyline for sure. This rewatch.
We will watch his career with great interest. But then she returns to the Red Keep, where she has Qyburn send a message to Peter Baelish. She's like, tell this motherfucker something, all right? I need to get in contact. And as Qyburn writes, behind him, the body of the mountain begins to seize violently. But Qyburn is shh, it's okay, my child. You know, he's fucking Dr. Frankenstein over here creating his monster. It's hilarious.
Interesting that Cersei does send a message to Littlefinger. Here we don't know what's said, you know, just like, hey, send this message to Littlefinger, or like, you know, I don't know, it's kind of what's she saying there, like just get in contact with him, tell him that this happened at your brothel, or tell him, you know, I don't know,
maybe he'd been kind of skating by on the fact that they'd kind of forgotten how important he is. He's just been gone for so long that like
she's like, oh wait,
she's like, we need to talk to Littlefinger. That scheming, slimy little fuck needs to be kept account for. You know, like
that's okay, I see.
I'm sure
because it is brought up. It is brought up later in the episode, I think. Yeah, about never mind. We'll get there eventually then. But
yeah, but that ends the story in King's Landing, and we're heading to the north, wherein while being served lunch by Reek, Roose Bolton scolds Ramsay on his recent flaying of Lord Kerwin and his family on what was supposed to be a routine tax collection. And Ramsay's like, oh, well, I got the taxes, did I not? His son was not wanting to get flayed.
Damn. Yeah. That's, I mean,
yeah.
He did.
He got the results. Yeah, but Roose gives it to him. He's like, hey, the North, it's too strong for you to be able to rule with fear. Like, the North will rise up. We're not, this isn't Southern houses, man. Like, they will fuck us up if we continue to fuck them up. So just be careful. He's like, they all hate us for what we did to the Starks. Like, we can't skate by on you being like, I'm just gonna flay motherfuckers. Like, that was some of the most graphic imagery we've seen thus far, huh?
That was rough. Yeah, definitely. Just a reminder not to eat during these episodes, really, because you can get just a whole skinned human, just at any time, and they really front and center it.
They let you see it.
And Roose is like, yeah, we don't have the protection of like the Lannisters anymore, like, or Tywin anymore. Yeah, he's gone. And he's like, do you really think, like, are you really dumb enough to think that the Lannister army is going to actually come up here? Like, they've never, I don't know if he said they've never done it, or like it took them.
They've never come this far north, yeah.
Like, it's just never happened. He's like, you have to be an idiot to think that. And Ramsay was kind of like, oh, yeah, I guess that's kind of true.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Ramsay's always just kind of like, man, like, just knowing where it's going. It's like every time I check in, I'm just.
Well, he's already been super fucked, like super fucked. Like the only person we've seen him really do it to is Reek, but then we also saw him like hunt a woman through the woods for sport. So like, he does demented shit, Oh, yeah. So the setup that he's found someone to wed to Ramsay, it's just one of those like, oh fuck, man. Like the first time you watch it, you go, oh no.
Yeah, like of course it has to be Sansa too. Like it's just,
has this poor girl not been through enough? I mean, holy fucking shit. How lucky of her to be betrothed to what are unanimously the two most despicable characters in the show. She has been betrothed to marry Joffrey and Ramsay. She actually does marry Ramsay. Like that's, oh God, how at least she caught a break with Tyrion, I guess, but
yeah, still not pleasant though. It was still just kind of like,
it was after her brother and family had been killed, and they were like, well, now you're gonna marry Tyrion, and she's like, oh, I really don't want that, and they're like, well, too fucking bad, like,
damn. And, Sansa might at first be like, oh, well, Ramsay, look, at least he's, not Tyrion, he's around my age, like, and then she just has
a good-looking man as well. Like, if you don't know who he is, that's a fine looking gentleman.
No idea what she's in store for.
No.
Like, she's like, at least I'm back home. I'm in Winterfell. Like, if I'm gonna get married anywhere, probably won't want to do it here. But yeah, just yeah, you're right. Definitely the two worst people in the show. Like, just to be betrothed to, like Joffrey and Ramsay. I don't know if you can get much worse. I'm trying to think of like anyone, but
I don't think you can. I think that's like, you got, like, whenever people talk about who's the worst person in the show, those are the two people that everyone talks about. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as people who are main characters, there's a lot of people on the side who pop up who are arguably in the conversation. Like, but that's the thing, is even so, they would still be top 5, even if you're not, like, because Craster, probably the most demented fuck we've ever seen in this show. The guy who fucks all his daughters and marries all his daughters and kills all of his sons. Like, that's like fantasy evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, like Ramsay and Joffrey feel like they could exist almost, which makes them like even more like, oh God, I fucking hate these guys. You don't even want to acknowledge that a guy like Craster could actually be alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, nah, we're good. Yeah. He doesn't exist.
Yeah, they all suck. Yeah. But yeah, poor Sansa, man. Yeah, it's just sad to see.
Yeah. But he's found the best way to cement the Boltons' control of the North through marriage, and Sansa Stark riding alongside Peter Baelish is a bit scared to see Moat Cailin. And he says she's realizing that the only reason they're heading this way is because they're going back to Winterfell, straight into the arms of the Boltons, the people who murdered her brother and family.
Like that. Yeah, like the Lannisters who gave the call, but now you're getting to the people who actually did the deed. Like,
Roose literally stabbed Robb in the heart. Like, it's something that actually, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck. Like, I always think of it as being the Lannisters' responsibility, but Roose was heavily involved in the affair. And she's like, I'm not marrying Roose. And Littlefinger's like, don't you fucking worry. You're not marrying Roose. You're marrying his son, Ramsay. Nobody will look for her there, and it's your best opportunity for revenge. It's where you'll be safest. It absolutely blows. Littlefinger straight up couldn't have known what was going to happen.
Yeah, no. I don't think he is actually looking out for her. He
truly thinks this is the best thing that's for her at the moment. Like, the worst he thinks of it is that she's with the man who killed her brother. Like, which is already bad. That's the thing he's willing to sacrifice. And I don't want to pass it off like he wouldn't be willing to sacrifice it all if he knew anyway. I do think he would. But it's nice to know that he is at least attempting to look after her.
Yeah. I don't, this isn't like, it's, I mean, obviously he's gaining a lot from this, it's like, putting Roose in his back pocket, pretty much, and just a whole, like, he's playing his games, but like at the same time, he's like, well, this isn't the worst thing for Sansa and his, he has no idea what Ramsay's like. But yeah,
he even talks to him about how he doesn't know what he's like, Yeah. Literally goes up to him and is like, I have no idea who you are, which is super fucking rare. What happened there?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. But I don't know. I really liked Sansa in these scenes right here, and
she's so good, man.
I did go with her for my performance of this episode. Just the range of emotions she had to show. Like, holy fuck, you're actually what? Like you're betrothing me to the people who killed my brother and my mom. And it's like, oh fuck, like no, I'm not doing that. I'd rather die. And then she just like collects herself. She's like. I think like Littlefinger's like, start to take control, like avenge your family, like, start, I don't know, living your own life.
Yeah. We're going to be able to avenge your family.
Yeah. I love Aiden Gillen. Like, I don't know.
He's so good in this role. And what's so funny is he's so over the top. It's hilarious. Like, have you seen Aiden Gillen and other stuff?
I don't. Maybe like Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, I was like, he has a small role in Dark Knight Rises. He also has a role in The Wire, another great HBO series. Plays a politician in The Wire, and in either of those roles, which are the only two other things I think I've seen him in, like he doesn't sound anything like this. Like it's just such a funny fucking accent and character he's portraying. Like. Just on the surface, like imitating him is just like, what a goofy motherfucker, man. Prepare to avenge your family.
Chaos is a ladder. Yeah, it's like every line.
Know what your next step is.
Yeah, he's just a scheming little slimy dude,
Keep and guessing, Sansa.
Yeah. He's, I don't know. They're
the Starks. I love the way he says the Starks, man. The Starks.
He's too good. Yeah.
Dude, I love him. He's so good. But from afar, Brienne and Podrick witness Peter and Sansa approaching Moat Cailin and realize that following them through the castle would be futile. So we're going to have to bypass Moat Cailin by going around it. And Podrick's like, I think we're probably going to lose sight of them if we do that. And Brienne's like, we don't need to follow them so closely. We know exactly where they're going now. And therein, making camp, Brienne learns how Podrick became Tyrion's squire. This is a great scene.
Yeah. This is what I ended up picking as my favorite scene.
Ooh, just goody.
Like kind of surprising. Like now that I look back on it for like what else happens in this episode, thought it would be at the wall, for sure, or I don't know, just so many good things. But this is just like a little short 5 minutes that we get just with Brienne and Podrick, and I don't know, just a really nice moment between them. And I don't know, I love these moments in the show where you just sit down, let two characters go, and I don't know, I just both of these characters shine, like Podrick and Brienne. Like right,
yeah,
it's just
big time.
Such a nice moment between them. But,
yeah, Brienne's gonna get my character for the episode, and I was close to picking Gwendolyn Christie, but there's a performance later on in the episode that I appreciated a little too good. But yeah, Podrick is like so I was gonna get killed. I was gonna be put to death because the guy I was squiring for stole a ham. Fell asleep with it in his hand, and it was there when he woke up. So they were like, let's hang this motherfucker. And his squire. Hang his squire, too.
Damn. That's just insane. That's some enforcement of the law there, like, don't steal. Like, I don't know. Davos just got his hand, his fingers chopped off, or whatever. Or, like, I don't know. I feel like he was probably
smuggling.
Charged for, like, a lot more than a ham. This is just a fucking ham. Like, I mean, are they talking about a whole pig? Or are they talking about just like a...
No, it's like a drumstick. If he could fall asleep with it in his hand,
Yeah. Like the cartoon hand that you think of, like Tom and Jerry,
like
you know,
the
like
big ass fucking drumstick type
yeah.
thing. It's
I'm
like an
man,
entire leg.
yeah, just all that for a ham. You know, hang the guy and the squire. Fuck it. Yeah, that's just damn. What a time to live in. But yeah, good old Pod. You know, he's a glass half full kind of guy. You know,
is.
it's just everything. He takes everything. He's like, I don't know. I love Pod.
Oh, dude, he's such a good dude, man. He's like, yeah, Tywin heard that I was related to that my last name was Payne, so he went ahead and sent me to be the squire for his son Tyrion. And she's like, I assume as punishment for you both because he's not a very good squire. And he's like, it didn't seem that way, like I really like Tyrion, and I'm pretty sure he really enjoyed me. So like, I ended up making a friend for life in Tyrion. Like that was a cute little interaction. But then Brienne's like, I'm sorry, man. I've been quick with you. Been quick to snap.
Oh yeah,
You don't deserve that.
He was like, yeah, they're just sorry. He's like, no, like I'm proud to be your squire, and like just that, like I forgot what line was said like right before. Oh, I don't know, it was something, but like, and then he's just like, no, I'm actually like, oh yeah, you're like, you beat the Hound, like you're the best fighter I've ever seen. Like I'm so proud to be your squire, and Brienne was just like,
man, I'm sorry,
I
dog.
might have been a little too hard on you.
Yeah, you're a good little guy, man.
Yeah.
And
sorry for snapping at you. She's like, oh, but if you wouldn't snap at me, I wouldn't learn anything. He's just like takes everything, and it's just, I don't know.
Do you want to be a knight, Pod?
It's like, oh, what? Yeah,
like, yeah. She's like, I'll train you. I'll show you how to use a sword and how to ride a horse.
Oh.
And he's like, oh, let's get it. And then, he questions Brienne about her past with Renly. He's like, so what about Renly? You seem pretty confident that he was killed by a shadow with Stannis Baratheon's face. What story there? How do you feel like you know that? And she reveals that as a young girl, her father held a ball and invited dozens of young lords in order to find a good match for her. Brienne was captivated by all the attention she was getting. Everyone was dancing with her and showing her the time of her life. But her happiness turned to embarrassment when Brienne realized they were all just toying with her. They were all laughing whenever she turned around and making fun of her. Brienne the Beauty, they called her. And it was then she knew she was the ugliest girl that ever lived. Which is just ridiculous. I get it, but Gwendolyn Christie is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like, it just doesn't work. Like in the books, it's always like mentioned that like
it's like that moment in Barbie whenever the narrator breaks the fourth wall and is like, if you were trying to make this point, Margot Robbie is not the person to cast. Gwendolyn Christie is fucking magnificent. She said before she could run away, Renly took Brienne into her arms and told her that those nasty little shits aren't worth crying over, and danced with her. And Pod's like,
but like, wasn't he
gay?
He's like, he couldn't say it though. He's like, you know, thought like
Tyrion told me that he only.
And he's like, yes, Pod, he liked men, but he was a nice guy and danced with me. Is that hard to believe? It's like, was so good. But
she says there's
interesting. Like,
she
couldn't. I was just reading this in like some of the trivia. Jamie apparently asked Brienne if Renly was gay before, and then she like couldn't admit to it. She was like, no, like she wouldn't admit to it before, but now just with Pod, just them two, she was like, yeah, like come on, okay, yeah, or whatever. I think might just be like a little denial,
I think there's a combination of symptoms going on there. A little bit of denial. It's a little fresher when she's with Jamie because I'm pretty sure she goes straight from Renly's camp to serving Catelyn to taking Jamie.
Yeah,
and then she went on that entire journey with Jamie. She dropped him off at King's Landing. She left to go find the Starks. So like it's been a long time removed. So like I think time just gives her the benefit of, hindsight. But there's also the fact, I think, where I think she's more comfortable, not embarrassing herself, but she feels like if she told Jaime that, it would have turned into a thing where he made fun of her because that's what he did.
Yeah. Just more
meanwhile,
fuel
Podrick basically worships the ground she walks on, so she can say that, and he's going to be like, yeah. He's just a nicer guy than Jaime is. So, like,
that's true.
It's just a combination of things there that I think benefit her talking to Podrick about this, which actually makes him one of the better people to talk about anything with. I would say he's just a good dude.
Guy lays down good pipe too. You know, I mean, he's got the whole package.
Dude can fucking is a good listener. Is there anything you want more?
About to get taught the ways of the sword too from Brienne. Like, dude,
he already knows how to. He already knows the ways of the sword. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Yeah. He's got to learn both ways of the sword. No, he's on a rise right now, Podrick.
Sir Podrick Payne, what a guy. But so she says that there's nothing more hateful than failing to protect the ones you love. And she's like, so I'm going to kill Stannis because definitely killed Renly via a shadow with his face. And I love that Podrick's not prying too much on that. He's just always like, okay, I trust you. Like you seem pretty confident in that. So I'm going to go ahead and believe you because I don't see a reason why that would be the one thing you've kind of lost your mind over. She seems pretty well put together. Otherwise, for that to be like the only thing she's lost her mind about would be kind of ridiculous,
Yeah, she can't she could barely explain it herself. She's like, I know it to be true, but that's what happened, and that is what happened.
Exactly what happened.
I went back and watched or maybe it was in the recap. Before the episode started, of actually the shadow killing Renly. And I looked in the mirror and it did kind of actually look like Stannis. It did kind of have the silhouette. And I'm like, oh, I never really noticed that before. I thought she portrayed that, onto it. But no, it kind of did look like Stannis a little bit. So, I mean, it is what happened, she's not lying.
No, it's exactly what happened. But no, yeah. So, but after that, we're heading to Winterfell. A little bit of a time jump. I assume the march from Winterfell to Moat Cailin isn't exactly a quick little jaunt, just another couple hours up the road or anything. Feels like a pretty substantial march.
Let's see. That's pretty far. On the map. That's a lot of distance there. I don't know how to. No idea
measure.
How to. But yeah, it does look like quite the trek.
Yeah, I mean the north itself, it's been said to us, is bigger than all the other kingdoms combined. So traversing the north is not easy by any
almost
means.
Half of the north from Moat Cailin to Winterfell.
God damn. Yeah, we're talking about a couple months worth of a time jump here in the north storyline.
Didn't really think about that. Maybe they just were like,
No, and it's not important, because they don't treat it like a time jump.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing they did with Tommen's age. At one point, Tommen was 4 years younger than Joffrey, and now he's treated as a year or two younger than him. So it's just kind of this benefits the story in the moment. Let's go ahead and do this. Which is why I think a lot of there's a big complaint in later seasons, in season 7, whenever they go marching north of the wall. There's a big complaint about how quickly Gendry gets back to the wall and Daenerys comes and helps. Bro, they've been playing with time the entire fucking show, man. It's not anything new. And yes, obviously it's a pretty massive moment, but the entire show is riddled with examples where they're let's just go ahead and speed this along to make it a little easier for us.
What you want to see them literally just traveling from A to B, nothing is going on in between.
I would literally especially in that episode. What a strange fucking critique. It's not even a critique. That's a nitpick. It's an action-packed, suspenseful episode that was already an hour and 25 minutes long.
let's have half the episode just be them actually traveling from A to
Which
B.
it
You know,
already basically is. Like, they spend so much time walking up there. And I think that might be why they're like, oh, how they, you know, but like, regardless, they show time passing. I don't know. It just kind of pisses me off. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, at Winterfell itself, the Boltons and their households greet Sansa and Littlefinger. And after a tense moment where I love the Game of Thrones, like, false beef, like, whenever they like step to each other and they're like, oh, I fucking hate your guts. And then they're just like, hi, you know, like they're just, they're like, it's nice to see you. This happens a lot. And it was just a really good example of it here with Sophie Turner's performance. Once again, very, very good. Yeah, she puts on an air of politeness that protected her in King's Landing. And from afar, Ramsay's bedwarmer and secret lover, Miranda, observes with jealousy and anger. And Sansa is later shown to her old room, seemingly foreign to her after all this time. And to her surprise, the servant attending her welcomes her back and assures her that the North remembers.
That was pretty cool.
Oh, good moment, man. Really good moment.
First time it's ever mentioned in the show. Another little bit of trivia that was in there.
I believe it. You know, like there's been no opportunity for it prior. You know,
yeah. Like I would have, maybe like, I guess, not really at all.
Because this is how long it's been since a Stark has been in the North.
Damn.
You know, like it's been since season 2 that a Stark was in the North.
Yeah.
The North remembers. You know, the people never gave up on the people they considered their lieges. And later on, Sansa explores the castle, and Reek is doing everything he can to make sure that Sansa does not see his face. But is also having a tough time not being like, help me. You know, like he's having just the constant dissonance in Reek. That's Reek and
or to warn Sansa, even, you know, maybe be like, hey, like this guy is not good. Like there's a whole lot of things going on there with Reek. Yeah, poor little Theon. Yeah, I hope he enjoyed.
Poor guy.
You know, he's always just the performance he has to put on every time. But
he's so good at playing the squirrely, lost his mind guy. It's bizarre. But elsewhere in the castle, Peter Baelish subtly warns Ramsay against inflicting any harm on Sansa, and discusses the situation with Roose, who is suspicious of Littlefinger's motives in betraying the Lannisters. And Peter's like, the Lannisters are not powerful anymore. Tywin is dead. Jaime has one hand and no political usefulness. And Cersei is about to be forced into the background by Marjorie because she is now Queen Mother, a title that loses its meaning every day. And Marjorie loves Sansa. So we're all good. And nevertheless, Roose is like, all right, got a message from Cersei from the capital. Just wanted to, check where you were at with that.
I noticed the seal is broken on this message. She's like,
and Roose goes, absolutely.
I'm not, you scheming motherfucker, you talking with Cersei.
You silly little fuck. I'm going to look into this.
He's like, oh, okay. Well, I'll write her back. He's like, yeah, I'm going to read that too. I'm like, I'll make sure you pass it on to me before you send it off. Like, and Littlefinger's like, all right, whatever.
All right.
I guess he is the Warden of the North right now. Feels weird, seeing him in like the big help, trying to play the part, and it's just like, it's just weird seeing that. But I guess it is technically.
I don't like it. Well, that's one thing that I think you could. I think it's just a small example of the sort of dishonor that he kind of takes part in. I don't know that Ned Stark would have ever done something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a small example of the difference between Roose and Ned as Warden of the North, but Roose is going to read your mail, and Ned's going to be like, hey, man, welcome. This is our home. I'm going to protect it if you do anything, but, like, you're here, so you're our guest. Like it's just a bizarre little dichotomy between them. But that ends that story there, and we're heading to the Wall. Where at King Stannis Baratheon tries unsuccessfully to convince the new Lord Commander, Jon Snow, to accept his offer of legitimization. Now, I love that Stannis was like, "Oh, I know that you just got the biggest promotion of your career up here, but any chance you want to dip and be Jon Stark and be the Warden of the North and everything?" And Jon's like, "I really can't. Especially now, I already said no because my place was at the Night's Watch, but now I'm the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, which makes me even more loyal to this place. So sorry, Stannis. I appreciate you though."
I feel like how unkingly Stannis just feels. Like I don't know, like he just
demands no respect.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, and the dude, I don't know. He does have quite a large army right now, and like a big backing. Like just everything he does is just kind of like, man, all right, you're just a little forgettable.
He just seems like a nuisance, you know. Like he's just being a little problematic for people in the kingdoms, and that's literally all he's doing, you know.
John's even like, even thanks for offering me like the thing I've wanted most of my life, but like, when are you gonna like leave and get out of here? You know, like we can't really feed all y'all. Like, I don't really want you here anyways either. Like
he's like, yeah, you know, as Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, a system that removes itself from politics entirely. When are you leaving, man? When are you getting the fuck out of here? And he's like, oh, have we been such an impediment to you? And he's like, actually, yeah. I like having you here and all, but like winter is coming and we can't afford to feed your entire fucking army and everything and our men, and the wildling prisoners indefinitely. And Stannis is like, fine, you fuck, yeah, we're leaving soon, but shit.
I guess. Fair enough, whatever. I'll leave in 2 weeks. If you put in like 2 weeks notice, he's like, all right, in a fortnight, whatever. It's like, that's still kind of it's 2 weeks of food there still, it's and a whole army's worth. That's still a lot, but
it's a lot of food. It's a lot of food, but he's like, and you know what? You can keep the wildling prisoners. You should talk to that Tormund and see if he's willing to negotiate more than the Mance was. And he's like, John's like, you don't know Tormund, man. I love the guy. You don't know Tormund. But Stannis is also like, and Alistair Thorne, dangerous. Maybe you go ahead and appoint him to Eastwatch by the Sea. And John's like, I've heard it's better to have your enemies close than far away. And Stannis says a line that I almost picked for my line, where he's like, the man who said that didn't have many enemies. Which is like, logically, that has always not made sense to me. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean keep my enemies close? If I can send them...
Maybe it's more of a metaphorical close, like maybe not like literally, like, like physically close, but just like in your mind, like your friends, you got nothing to worry about. It's all good. But like your enemies, like if you're in that seat of power, like you just got to remember who they are, what they want, what their goals are, sort of thing. And like, but yeah, like as a kid, I'm always like, that just makes no fucking sense.
Like you want to keep your eye on them in case they're conspiring against you, I guess. But like, I don't know. When it comes to the Night's Watch, sending him to Eastwatch by the Sea would not hurt.
That's true.
In fact, he does the opposite and makes him the first ranger, which it was an attempt at an olive branch, and we'll get there. But that's when Stannis decides to turn away and leave after dropping that bar. And as Davos prepares to head out with him, he invites Jon to ponder on the second to last stanza on the Night's Watch oath. He's like, Ollie, say you probably memorized the fucking oath by now. And he starts and he's like, no, not that part. Towards the end.
To the end. Go forward.
He goes, I am the shield that guards the realms of men. That's enough. Shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Idiot. The shield that guards the realms of men. And he's like, it doesn't seem like you're doing anybody any good sitting up here. Like, again, ultimate salesman, Davos Seaworth. Fucking love this guy. And it doesn't seem like you're doing anybody any good protecting the realms of men here on the edge of the world. And he assures Jon, he's like, Stannis, he sees something in you, you know? He might not seem like it. That's just kind of the way he is, but he really does. He's taken a liking to you. So just keep that in mind if you want to, take back your home. And that's kind of the end of that. But later on at the mess hall, Jon asks Sam about Maester Aemon. He's like, he's gathered everybody in the Great Hall, and he's like, "Where's Maester Aemon?" And he's like, Sam's like, he's not doing good. He's on his way out, Jon. Hate to say it, but this is it. And Jon, just like the way he like looks at him, he goes, "Take care of him." He's just like, damn, man. God.
What is he to Jon again? Like
oh yeah, he would be an uncle,
like a great uncle or something like that. Maybe
definitely a great uncle. Way too old to just be his uncle, but yeah, because I believe his brother, Maester Aemon's brother, was Aegon, who I believe was the Mad King's dad.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because it should have passed on to Aemon, but he was like, no, turn it down. So I guess he's either an older brother to the Mad King, or I think he's the older brother to the Mad King's dad. That's what I think. Okay, I think he would be. I think he'd be Daenerys's great uncle and Jon's great uncle. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I mean, this man's ancient. This dude's super old.
He is old. He's getting there. That is for sure. Yeah, and the Targaryen family tree is just quite the freaking jumbled mess here. But let's see. He's on the same line as Darren. Yeah, Aegon the Fifth. He's on the same line as Aegon the Fifth, I guess. And then where's like the Aegon? I'm trying to wonder. No way. I guess it was 300 years ago.
Yeah.
So like, so yeah, it would be. So it would just be a couple Aegons removed. Yeah, okay, that does make sense. But then what was the Mad King? Let's see.
Mad King was Aerys.
He is yeah, he's like I think 2 generations above the Mad King, it looks like.
Wow.
Yeah. If Aerys the Second would be,
I guess that like makes sense when you're talking about royal families and this time period's consummation practices. It's like you're getting married and having sex at 16.
That's true. Yeah.
So your grandpa could be 31 in theory. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're born, your grandpa could be 30 years old. So like
yeah. Wow. Yeah, just that family tree is something. Aegon the Fifth, he was the brother of Aegon the Fifth. And then, just one. Never mind. It looks just one generation before the Mad King.
Okay, so he's the Mad King's uncle, Daenerys' great uncle, and Jon's great uncle.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, what a... Yeah. Jon and Daenerys is like really, it's all of it's just like.
Well, it's even crazier to think that Jon has the same relationship connection to this person, just a couple times removed, as the Mad King and as Daenerys. You know, like that was the Mad King's uncle. It is also Jon's uncle, which is kind of it's kind of bizarre to think about. You know,
what a line. Yeah. Just a few incest, things in there every now and then, and then you have random secret marriage. There's a whole lot going on there.
I love that shit, though, man. I love that shit. But Jon begins assigning roles to members of the Watch. It's his time. He's ascended. He is the Lord Commander. And he says, we're going to start with the most important shit on our docket. The digging of a new latrine pit, and everyone's like, ha 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 ha. And he just like eyes Alistair Thorne. He's like, And I feel like we need to put a very important man in charge of this task.
He did so good up there. Yeah.
And then he's like, Jacob. I don't know what his name was. Jacob.
Yeah,
seems like a good
Ginger.
job for a ginger.
Yeah, like everyone just laughed. Like I really thought
like I went
out.
Kit Harington for the performance, mostly for something that happens later, but even appreciating a moment like this, John doesn't get to do this like ever. You know, like he's being playful. Can you point to another time in this entire fucking show so far where he's made a joke like this?
Yeah, that's true. No, not really at all.
Yeah.
Like maybe season 1, you know, when they're talking about girls and like, or whatever, you know, like it's some throwaway, whatever. But yeah, it's nice to see him in the office, you know, whenever Stannis and Davos come up, talk to him, and nice to see him just at the top of the table. God, you know, everyone looks at that.
Feels right seeing him in a position of power. It's great to see him there, but, you know, seems like a good job for a ginger. And everyone laughs and is like, haha, yes, my man. And he's like, Sir Alistair Thorne, you know, you've got more experience than anybody here at the Wall. You did a great job commanding the Wall in lieu of a Lord Commander. I'm appointing you First Ranger. And it's kind of like he's trying to be like, it's time,
let's
you know?
Beef. No,
let's squash this shit. I respect you. Respect me too, okay? Like, this is how it's gonna go. And he buys him for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not until he decides to take the wildling south of the Wall and everything that stuff really that the Night's Watch starts to turn on him. Like right now, with this, it was kind of like, okay, yeah, we fuck with you. Like, this is dope.
Still, I mean, almost 2 seasons away that John, like, they kill him, right? That's the season 6 finale?
That's this season's finale.
Wait, wow, he dies this season?
Yeah,
he's resurrected
season 5.
6. That's right. Oh, shit. So it is only about a season.
No, yeah, like, it buys him a short time.
Oh my God, it is this season. Holy fuck.
We're getting
good
I'm like,
shit. I'm still thinking I had a season to go, but yeah, no, he's definitely not resurrected season 7. That's just not true. Oh man, holy shit.
He's resurrected in season 6, and by the end of so he's just become Lord Commander beginning of season 5. He is murdered by the Night's Watch at the end of season 5. He is revived at the beginning of season 6. He is declared king in the North by the end of season 6. Like, the leaps this man takes the next 2 seasons is fucking amazing. Yeah. I love it so much. Yeah. But we're in the thick of it now. Like, this is the ascension. We're in the fucking, he is shooting to the stratosphere right now. Finally, Lord Commander Snow calls on Janos Slynt. Notably, the gentleman, not so gentle, the gentleman who turned on Ned Stark whenever Ned hired the City Watch to take down, the Lannisters, basically. He was like, he paid them off, even though somebody had already paid them. And Janos put the spears through a bunch of Northmen and everything. Peter put the dagger to Ned's throat. So Janos was important in that. Nice to keep that in mind for what's about to happen. He decides to give him Greyguard, a castle that is abandoned and needs to be restored and manned. And Janos is like, but sir, Greyguard is a ruin. And he's like, I know, and that's why we need someone out there to go ahead and rebuild it up. And he's like, nah, fuck you. I'm not going to do that. And he goes, oh, you won't? He says, no, I won't, you dumb little bastard. And he's like, so you're refusing an order. Do I understand that? Do I understand? I'm just checking, Janos. Do I understand correctly that you are refusing an order in this moment? Like, you're doing me a huge favor. If so, are you refusing an order? And he goes, you know what? Yeah, shove it up your bastard ass.
All right. Hey, Ollie, grab my fucking sword. He's like,
Ollie, grab my sword. Take this man outside. And Janos just kind of looks around. He's like, and he looks to Alistair. He's like, come on, help, man. And Alistair just kind of like smiles at him. He's like, hey, man, shit, you.
Yeah, he stands there for a little bit, but then he's like, Yeah. Well, he fucked up. Can't say
Yeah,
that.
like it ain't shit I can do for you now, man. You really fucked that up. And it's like from that time when John says, "Take him outside, Ollie, fetch my sword." That's when my favorite scene begins.
Oh my god. Yeah. This could have been the end of the episode, honestly.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I'm astonished
oh
it
my
wasn't.
God. Yeah.
And this is where Kit Harington really earns the performance for me.
Yeah.
It's Dolores Ed and a few others who grab Janos and who's angrily protesting. He has important friends at the court. This won't stand.
Yeah.
This is just a scare tactic. You're a pussy. You will never
you
do
won't
it.
Scare me. Yeah, it's like they slap the log, right? Like the executioner's block, and he's like,
Mhm.
"Oh fuck, this is getting real."
Yep.
He's like, "Oh shit."
Dragged out there, and again, commending the laws of his father, the man who passes the sentence shall swing the sword. They bend him over the piece of wood, and he goes, "You've committed treason." He doesn't even say that. He just goes, "Lord Janos, do you have any last words?"
Yeah, you'll say him now.
He's like, "I'm sorry. I'm
just so afraid. I've always been afraid. Oh, I didn't mean it. I'll
Nothing
go.
like the clarity of imminent death, huh?"
Yeah. And I'll go to that ruin. I don't care anymore. That's okay. Yeah, I didn't mean. You didn't hear what I said earlier, right? Like, yeah, I didn't actually say that.
This man once ripped a baby from a mother's arms and killed that baby.
Oh, that was him.
Yeah. This is a huge fucking W. There's nothing
yeah.
bad about this. Everything happening right now fucking rocks. You know, like there's nothing, there's no downside here. You know, like it's John proving that he is worthy of this position. It's proving that he stands by his word and he's not to be fucked with. And we're losing Jano Slant, who fucking sucked. So like,
yeah, this really was a win-win for John. It's either like, well, we can rebuild this ruin, you know, if he does actually decide to say yes, but then if not, I get to kill him. So it's like, yeah, either way, this is great. You know, I don't have to see him ever again after today.
He's like, I'll do whatever you ask. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I've always
John's my
been
character
afraid.
for this episode, though. I mean, I was like, I needed to give him something, at least.
I love
something for the episode. Oh man,
this kind of paralleled Rob's in a different, like Rob's was more of like a, oh man, shit's falling apart, whereas this is like, oh, he's finding his fucking place. You know, like whenever Rob beheads the Karstark gentleman, and just the energy that Richard Madden and Kit Harington kind of have in that moment where they just kind of like stand there for a moment, and then like after it's done, they're like. Like they are, like they have to fire themselves up, or else they're not going to be able to do it. Kind of,
Yeah, that's and like the moment's hesitation. You know, they don't want to do it. Like it's like they're like, this. I'd rather not be doing this, but I have. Like I'm just in this position. Like this is my first day. You know, or I don't know. Maybe it's not the first day, but seemingly, you know, first act as Lord Commander. And he's like, if I let someone walk all over me like this. You know, it's not going to be good for his reign. And he's like, yeah, no, I got to do it. And just like, I wonder how hard you really have to swing. You know, I mean, it's like, because we see Theon, you know, you see Theon try and
just does not have the strength for it. Apparently,
no.
I think it's also like a location thing. Like you got to hit like a good spot. Like you can't like. Yeah. You hit too high and you're going skull. Like,
too low. You got like collarbone, like shoulder. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, that's true. You got to be accurate and swift. But I don't know.
And I think the like when it came to like Ned's sword, it's impressive that he could even swing that motherfucker above his head. You know what I'm saying? Like that thing was.
Yeah, I mean, this has got enough momentum behind it.
I don't think it matters where you hit with ice.
That could slice through a skull clean.
Yeah,
like, it
absolutely could. But yeah,
this...
Long Claw. This is a little bit of a different story. It's a big sword, but it's takes some skill to wield it, and he does behead Janos in one swift movement. And from across the courtyard, Stannis Baratheon sees Jon behead Janos for refusing his orders. He's like, "Okay, Jon, you know what? I can respect that. I can leave you in peace." But another notable thing is that, like I said, Janos executed Robert Baratheon's children. So
Yeah.
Stannis' nephews and nieces.
Okay.
He's like,
Did Stannis know that?
I don't think so, but it's just like a nice little another thing to kind
Another
of make
cherry
the
on
moment
top
even
for
better.
Game
It's
of
just
Thrones.
this man's just been a nuisance to everyone while being basically nothing, which is kind of it's remarkable whenever a character can be as big a problem without having any importance whatsoever, like Janos Slint. So yeah, glad to see him go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's all my favorites now. I think I've said line, character, and Kit got my favorite performance, and that scene was my favorite. Like, Kit Harington was so fucking good in that moment. And
got everything other than the line from me, so that's the only thing I'm waiting on.
And we still got 2 locations remaining.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to head to Bravos first, where Arya Stark has been put to work cleaning the main sanctuary of the House in Black and White. You know, we got a classic Karate Kid sort of thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
Wax on, wax off. And she's like, yo, I can do more than this, okay? I want to learn, but all I've done is clean for weeks. And he's like, yeah, you got to do that, man. It's just part of it. You got to pay your dues, dude. It's just the way things work here. But, yeah, Jaqen was like assisting someone and drinking from the temple's well, which usually kills people. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the dude we see whose body is like on the slat later.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, because it is in like the inside of there. They have like all like the gods kind of in there, you know, but they worship just one, like the god of death. Like that's just their worship. But like they have, I guess, like to make people comfortable whenever they're going, you know, like because you go in there, you're not coming out. Like I guess this is like just an assisted suicide sort of thing, you know, because like
it is confusing because like I think it's almost like they often frame it as like a trade, you know, if this person's supposed to die or not supposed to die or vice versa, they're like, well, we gotta take a name, you know, so you're going to have to die if you want to protect this person. Like, if there's someone who's, like, sick and dying, I think they have the power to, like, swap that sort of thing. They're like, oh, yeah, if you want to risk your life for this person, sure, we can go ahead and make that happen. You can die. They'll be fine.
Yeah, because in the wiki, he's called a despondent man.
The
and that's
despondent
what they call
man.
him as. But he says, is a man who wants to die and seeks a soothing end to his despair at the House of Black and White.
Well, there you go.
That's it. That's it. That's all they give him.
Yeah, maybe it is an assisted suicide sort of thing. Maybe that's all there is to it. But I feel like there do come people who are like, help me save this person. And they're like, oh,
yeah.
If you want to make sure that person's name never gets taken, we're going to have to take yours, you know, like,
yeah, I see that. Yeah. Cause I mean, there was like 3 people in there. Like,
people are coming to the House of Black and White, man. They're like, yo, hook me up, kill me, motherfucker.
Another face for them, you know. They're like, all right, well, it's another name or another, you know, name for death, and then we get another face to wear. So,
yep, another day, another dollar. But then later on, Arya is accosted in her room by Vel Sartha. The waif, portrayed by Faye Marseille.
Yeah.
Most recently seen in Andor, and she was much more likable in Andor.
Leagues,
I will say.
Yeah, just a different league completely. This is not very likable here.
No.
You know, it's a stepping stone to get to where Arya needs to be, but maybe
absolutely
not.
But it's a different thing, you know, like she's putting aside the needs of the House of Black and White and of their religion because she's jealous of how quickly Arya has come into the favor of Jaqen. You know, like she's like, well, you know, you did not earn this. There's no reason for you to be here, so why the fuck are you here, sort of thing. But yeah, anywho, she's repeatedly asking who she is. Who are you, Arya? Who are you? And she goes, no one. And she smacks the shit out of her for that response. And Arya's like, oh, cunt.
Yeah.
little bit of the Hound coming through in her. You know, I think that was the first time we've heard Arya say "cunt." By the way,
Probably,
which is just
yeah.
wonderful.
Seems like, oh yeah.
Ow,
Like,
cunt!
like if
I
it-
just loved
like,
the delivery was astounding. I almost picked that for my line as well because it really stuck out to me the first watch.
another one, even right after, like she keeps hitting her and is like, "Who are you?" She's like, "You're about to find out." You know, she's like you fuck around, like you already are fucking around, like
You're gonna
you're
fucking
about
die,
to find
bro.
out. You know, like I'm about to just kill you right here.
I'll kill you, motherfucker. But yeah,
Hmm.
Jockin eventually arrives and is like, "Yo, what's going on here?" And the waif is, she stepped out of her box of authority. He's like, she's not ready for that shit. And, she's not ready for the game of faces. And he does, however, point out that Arya cannot be no one, as she is wearing Arya Stark's clothes. How did no one come into the possession of so many of Arya Stark's things?
Mm-hmm.
And he was, she was about to attack the waif using Arya Stark's sword. And realizing his point, Arya's like, fuck, fine. She goes to toss everything into the lagoon, along with the quote-unquote stolen silver. I love that nobody believes that she, was given this. It's stolen silver.
She's just Arya Stark,
Yeah.
a daughter of, one of the biggest houses in Westeros. She just couldn't have silver. Has to be stolen.
It has to be stolen. But
I guess Jaqen knew she was a prisoner, actually. She did have nothing at all, and then happened, I guess, come by some silver. Maybe that's why. But man, Maisie Williams here, just the short little.
Oh, she's getting good, man.
Just throwing her clothes away, just slowly, the clothes was kind of easy to get rid of. She's like, all right, throw it in, and then the coin a little bit harder to get rid of, and then needle. She's like, oh, nah, there's no way I'm throwing needle. And then it cuts back to her face, and then she's just in tears. And I'm like, oh, god damn. I'm like, man, this. I don't know. I just love Arya's storyline.
Dude, I love Arya, man.
So mysterious. So just the training. I don't know. I love that trope too. I don't know, being trained to become a weapon, and all that. But I don't know. I love the journey she's going through right now.
And she can't bring herself to discard needle, so she goes ahead and hides it in a seawall nearby, which will come back around whenever the waif wants to fuck around and find out again. But
does she actually kill her?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember how. I think I now it's coming back. She does, but yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay, that'll be satisfying. Whenever we get back around
that's a fun one to watch. So I'm excited for you to get a chance to see that again. But back at the house, Jaqen allows Arya to progress to an inner chamber where she is to assist the waif in stripping and washing corpses.
Mm-hmm.
And the waif is silent. Yeah, no, this is not not the best job in the world, but it's a step in the right direction if you're in this profession.
Mm-hmm.
The waif is silent when Arya asks what happens to the bodies after they are cleaned. The waif's just like, you want to know? No. You'll see. That concludes the story in Bravos. I like that hers is just kind of sprinkled in there for the next season or so. It's just kind of like, here's a little bit more. Here's a little bit more.
Makes you wonder. Yeah, it's just you have to feel. I don't know. It's just like, oh man, we haven't checked in with Arya. It's just what's happening next. It's always you kind of have the idea of they put on these faces and people are coming in to die, and it's like, well, how the fuck, how do you get trained? What's the training? There's just so many unanswered questions that it's like, I don't know. I'm always just intrigued by it every time I'm on. I'm like, yes, finally, maybe some more answers are coming. But yeah, and then I don't know, just Arya as well. Just knowing where she goes, on rewatch, as well. It's just oh, it's so cool, seeing her, this is her start to really getting somewhere, and eventually, taking down the biggest villain in the entire show.
Yep.
So I don't know. I love Arya's storyline, and every time we check in, it's a delight for me.
It's nice, man. It is. Mm-hmm. But we're then heading to Volantis to top off the episode, where Tyrion Lannister and Varys finally arrive, and sick of the carriage they've been riding in, Tyrion again dismisses the dangers and insists that they leave to explore.
And
I think
opening,
I will be no good to Daenerys Targaryen if I lose my mind by the time we get there. I can't remember the last face I've seen that wasn't yours. And Varys going, it's a good face.
Not a bad face. Yeah, it's a great face. Yeah. I just love Tyrion. Like, I've got to get out of this carriage.
Yeah.
I've got to get out of this carriage. Like,
yeah.
over and over. Like, he's just slowly going crazy. I mean, they have been on the road for a while. You know, they're traveling quite the distance.
I mean, the entire bit of season 5 so far. The only time we've seen him not in a carriage was in the first episode where he
got taken out of a box.
Yeah.
In a box on a boat, just traveling across the narrow sea, and then gets taken out and then just shoved back in a bigger, way nicer box. But yeah, we talked about the distance from like Moat Cailin to Winterfell, but goddamn, I'm imagining the distance from wherever in Pentos. Is that where they landed? Maybe.
Yeah, Pentos.
Pentos to Valant. Yeah, that's like fucking 5 times the distance from Moat Cailin to Winterfell.
Wow.
Essos is huge. Like, it's just massive. If I do the good old little finger technique, it's maybe like 3 times. 3 to 4 times the distance. So yeah, they've been traveling for some time.
Yeah, but they go ahead and get on out. He's like, so I'll just be another fucking drunk dwarf somewhere in the world. It's not that big a deal. Let's get on out of here. But the pair move through the Long Bridge's markets, and Varys explains the meaning of the various tattoos Volantine slaves must sport. And Varys nearly loses Tyrion, but finds him observing the sermon of a red priestess who is, praising the word of the Dragon Queen, Daenerys Targaryen. That's the red priestess. They're backing, like Melisandre. I like that, like, red priestesses just kind of go everywhere and are like, this guy could be a king. Let's do this. Let's do this shit. Okay.
The night is dark and full of terrors. They just, I don't know. They know how to get
the night is dark and full of terrors, but this person's kind of dope. Like that's kind of their whole thing. And Tyrion's like, well, the only red priest we had in King's Landing was Thoros Emir, and this one is much more attractive. And the red priestess again evangelizes in High Valyrian, telling the tale of how she was once a slave herself. She preaches of a prophesied savior, a dragon queen. And Tyrion's interest in the scene wanes when the priestess halts in her sermon and stares directly into his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Just a nice little, I love a red priestess staring into someone's eyes. Like, oh, there is importance in you. I see it. Like earlier, I think it was earlier this season when Melisandre was looking at Jon through the flames.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was the season 5 premiere, or if not, the season 4 finale. I think the season 5 premiere, though.
One of the two, that's for sure. But yeah, just the mysterious stare through the flames, and
super cool. Yeah. I love it. Mm-hmm. Well, and again, like, they do a lot. They don't do a lot to allude to it. They do enough to make you think there's a possibility Tyrion is a part of that family, with Jon and Daenerys. The way that, like, this paralleling Jon's sort of like experience with a red priestess, and Tywin saying that he's not even sure he was the father of Tyrion, and
there's a lot of theories that think that he's really a Targaryen.
And I don't really think that, but I do think that, like, they do enough to make it feasible that they would tease something like that. It's
the theory I like more is that Varys is the secret Targaryen. That's why he shaves everything. To not let his white hair be known to everyone. And that he realized, I don't know. I don't really know how much that one has. I watched like one YouTube video on it, and I'm like, oh, I could see that. And then now I just kind of like headcanoned it in the back of my head. But they at least have like the spirit of like the good Targaryens, I guess.
For sure. But anywho, Tyrion next leads Varys to a brothel. And they catch sight of a prostitute dressed as Daenerys wearing assless chaps.
Mm-hmm.
And Varys tells Tyrion that a woman who inspires both sermons and horrors is probably worth meeting. Another great line, you know.
Yeah. And my line came before they walked in, and it was like just the bodyguard like at the front, like he just rubs Tyrion's head. He's like, it's good luck to rub a dwarf's head, and then Tyrion just claps back. He's like, yeah, it's even better luck to rub a dwarf or suck a dwarf's cock.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Tyrion always has a clap back for everything. It seems like, and
he's had his fair share of fun poked at him for being a dwarf. Yeah. He knows how to get back at them. But Tyrion, while all this is happening, you see Jorah Mormont at the same brothel, kind of like admiring the Daenerys prostitute, but also like in pain because she's going over to other men, and like it's reminding him of.
He's been with her, or do you think he actually got with her and like she's been with, like he paid her?
This was actually much less. This was actually much less indicative of him being into that prostitute than I originally thought. Mm-hmm. I think he's here because this woman reminds him of Daenerys. I think he's so infatuated with Daenerys herself that he wouldn't sleep with her. It's just kind of like it's like a comfort thing. Like she's like Daenerys. I doubt this man's gotten laid at all. Like that's the kind of dude Jorah is, which is kind of bizarre. Like he's the kind of guy to go to a brothel just to like hang out for a little bit. You know? He's like I just need a break, man.
I don't know. It always just is hilarious to me. Like it just shows Daenerys as a prostitute, and then you just see Jorah just like drunk and just sad, like just on the side. Like
that's what makes me think so.
Jorah's been, you know, like. Like
this dude's just like, oh my god. He's just like, well, and like it's like a self-torture thing too, you know, like he doesn't deserve happiness, so he's gonna like, I think he's he's literally playing out what's kind of been happening throughout his life, where Daenerys has always been right there, but he's never been able to do anything. In fact, she goes and sleeps with other dudes, you know, like, so he's just like, this is what I deserve forever and ever. Khaleesi! You know, like, it's,
yeah, man, at least he finds a way back, you know, at least
what's even funnier is that Tyrion, we'll get there. Tyrion woos a dark-headed prostitute. He's like, hey, sup now? And she's like, they all want her. And he's like, I don't. You're the shit. You know why? You have a quizzical, skeptical mind, and that's what I look for in my prostitutes.
It's like the medieval Riz, I guess, equivalent. He's just like,
right.
But it's, I don't know.
He feels like, and this is why I like Tyrion, is that like he does, like, it kind of puts on that. Even with prostitutes, he tries to give them an air of comfortability. He doesn't want them to feel like he's forcing them into anything or anything. Like he's a consensual king, you know. He doesn't want to be like, I'm hiring you, let's go. He's like, hey, I want to earn this a little bit. I'll still pay you, but I want to earn it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I respect that. Oh, he does. He's gotta have game. And she agrees to service him. And as soon as she does, he's like, huh. I can't. I'm sorry. No, like I want to. I don't know how I'm going to spend my free time if I can't.
No one's more shocked than I am. He's like, I don't know what I just can't.
Dude's become monogamous. You know, he wants to fall in love, and he wants to experience those feelings, and he can no longer. He's got some pretty deep trauma related to prostitutes at this point now.
That's true. Yeah. 100%. A little too soon, I think. He's
and I mean, like a couple examples of it. historically.
Yeah, not even just Shay. Yeah,
not even just Shay, which was, I mean, like obviously what's really put a nail in that coffin. But before with Jaime and his dad, and like her getting passed around to a bunch of Lannister soldiers, and them having been married, and him being like, oh, okay, so I should just fuck off and die forever. And then having to murder his father and Shay because he slept with her. Like, oh yeah, he's like, maybe I find love that I don't have to pay for, huh?
Yeah. He's like, I'll go take a piss. He's like, I can't do this right now. Yeah,
I'm so sorry. I know I just told you that I really wanted to fuck you and you were really insecure about everything going on over here. And now I'm giving in. Like, I don't want to, I do, I promise, but I don't. Just a very funny little scene there and good, like you're like, Tyrion, fuck yeah, man. You're like a very practical and tangible evidence of character development that you don't get a lot. It's usually just like, they've evolved so much over the course of the show. But this is like, you can literally point to a time when he was like, I'm actually done with paying women for sex.
Yeah, because I mean, you get him season 1, he's with like 3 women, like in Winterfell.
Yeah, the first time you meet him, he is in bed with several women. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a big development on his. Crazy that you could say a huge character development point in this character's journey is turning down a prostitute. Like what other, just what a show!
What a show!
Like, man, and we're fully behind it too. We're like, man, like good on you, Tyrion. Like this is just great character development from you. And I just can't get this from any other show. Really, I love it. I love it too.
But the episode tops itself off when he goes to take a piss off the side of a bridge. He loves pissing from tall heights, Tyrion. If there's one thing about Tyrion, he's going to piss from a really tall height.
Nothing's going to beat the wall piss, though.
No, that's he's pissing off the edge of the world, man.
Come on. Yeah, is there a better piss? I don't think so. I'm trying to think of anywhere else in the Game of Thrones universe.
Oh, there can't be. That's the place to piss,
like down the pyramid in Marine, maybe. Still
cool.
Probably not.
I'm sure he did that at some point too. If we're
off the Red Keep for sure. He's done that. Like in King's Landing, he's probably done that. I don't think.
Let's just say Tyrion's pissed all the best places. That's for sure. Maybe
off a dragon. Maybe riding a dragon, taking it. Maybe that's like the only thing that can top the wall. Beat
it. Well, you could like get a bunch of shit under your belt. Like as far as the height and the grandeur of like pissing off the edge of the world, you're not beating the wall. But let's not act like you can't take some sort of pride in pissing off or in the Great Sept of Baelor. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, there's a bunch of royalty buried beneath me, and I'm literally pissing on their grave.
That would be sick. Yeah,
that'd be kind of crazy. But yeah, sorry to talk about pissing so much, but he did piss off the side of a bridge. He loves it. He loves pissing. It's his thing.
He did do that.
But Varys loses sight of him in this moment. And just as Tyrion finishes, he's like, he gets approached from behind and he's like, don't worry, I'll be right there. He turns around. Oh, thought you were somebody else. And Jorah's like, goes ahead and throws a bag over his head. Where are you taking me? I'm taking you to the queen.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious luck on Jorah to kidnap a man who was already going to the place he plans on taking him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tyrion's like, well, I guess, like, okay, like, I don't know. He's like, I'd rather not.
That was this way, already my plan.
Sure. But yeah, Jorah just won the lottery equivalent, here in like the Game of Thrones universe. Just like stumbled upon. I mean, he knew. Like Jorah was probably the only person over there that was like, oh fuck, that's Tyrion Lannister.
That's Tyrion Lannister.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Maybe the Red Woman. I don't know. Is it are they just the Red Women, or like I feel like
the Red Priestess?
Priestess, yeah. Maybe she had something, or maybe she was just like, ooh, important person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she necessarily was like, oh, Tyrion Lannister.
Right.
But yeah, that Jorah and Varys probably the only two over there that have any clue that's Tyrion. So yeah, same brothel. They could have gone to any brothel, or whatever. That's whatever. It's
a dwarf, a eunuch, and a cuck walk into a bar.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, what a way to end the episode. Instead of Jon beheading Janos Slynt, we got Tyrion pissing off and then, taken away from. I guess it's more of a cliffhanger. You know,
it is. They're like, oh shit.
Yeah, Janos Slint dying.
Well, it's another example of that rare worlds colliding. You know, we haven't gotten a ton of that. In fact, it's been a much more prolonged experience getting to that, really. I feel like, you know, we've had Samwell and Bran cross paths at one point. Stannis gets to the wall and interacts with Jon. And now it's like someone from Daenerys' storyline is crossing over with someone from King's Landing. So it's like, oh, now we're really fucking doing it. You know what I'm saying? And that's exciting. That's exciting stuff. But man, it's a goodie. And that concludes the episode. How are we feeling about it? How are we feeling about this bad boy?
I like this one more. I don't know. This one just seemed all around better. Like,
it's a good episode.
Every scene was just, I'm like, man, there was no dull point really in the episode at all. I guess like maybe like Arya is like actually the dullest point of the episode.
Which is crazy.
That's a good sign. So yeah, I'm thinking, I don't know, we've just kind of been stepping up like on enjoyment.
Might just be a 9, yeah.
Episode, I think it just is kind of that next little step up. I think 9's fair. I don't know if it's really any higher. Like, there's nothing crazy that happens, but it's just like it's just good. It's
enjoyable. It's a very enjoyable experience. You know, we're like one massive character death short of like a perfect episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Janos Slint, like he does enough for me, but you know, like the last 925 we gave out was Mockingbird, which is when Peter Baelish throws Lysa Arryn through the moon door. Yeah.
So I think we'll get there. Yeah, I don't know. Sons of the Harpy coming up next.
Kill the Boy. It's a good fucking episode. It's the episode when I just it's Aemon giving a speech to Jon about how he needs to become. He needs to kill the boy inside him.
Metaphorical. And, I like that. That's sick. Yeah, like I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Sons of the Harp. Is that just whenever like they just start going wild in the street?
I'm not sure. No, that's the thing is that like until season 5 episode 8, I'm kind of, and season 5 episode 6 is the only other one that I know exactly what happens during, and that's because it sucks. That's the that's the wedding between Sansa and Ramsay.
We're in Dorne a little bit. Next episode, we get to Jaime and Bronn going in Dorne a little bit, and then
I imagine since we didn't get any Jaime and Bronn or Daenerys, next episode is going to more than make up for that.
And then Melisandre seduces Jon, I guess, a little bit. Sansa visits the tomb. Little Dany speaks with Barristan. Injured Grey Worm helps fight the Sons of Harpy. Yeah. That's what I thought. I mean, Sons of Harpy of the episode title.
Oh man, we're coming up. Oh man, next episode, fucking, we lose big time. That's a bad one.
No.
Yeah, Barristan dies next week.
Oh no! I scrolled down just to the deaths, and I'm like, okay, brothel customer, lead.
Yeah, as soon as you said Grey Worm injured, injured, and Barristan fights the Sons of the Harpy. Yeah, Barristan dies next episode. That fucking
damn. Well,
that sneaks up on you. I would not have assumed that was next episode. So that blows.
Yeah. Oh my god. We literally said it's one episode, or like just a big.
Man, you know what that does mean? We're also getting that conversation between Daenerys and Barristan about Rhaegar, about him like walking through the streets and like singing and being so like it's a good episode for Barristan next week. That might be, you might get an honorary character nod ahead of time. You know,
wow.
If not, just straight up earns it. But regardless, we are heading in a good direction for the season. And critically for this episode, we gave last week a 9.25. It was a very good episode last week. This was another solid episode. I do think I'm closer to 9.25 than I am 8.75.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I was thinking 9.25 at 9. Like it's either on the same level or maybe a little bit below.
I don't think it was quite as good looking as episode 2. I think that would be my only complaint. I do think we're heading in the right direction though. So I would say 9. It's
a good 9 episode. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, because I don't know, there was something last episode where it
Looked fucking
looked
good.
great. And not to say that this one didn't. Like, it still looked good.
I know it was a solid looking episode.
Mhm.
Like it was just that last episode that was the highlight of last episode. It was like, wow, this is a good looking episode of Thrones. Let's see. I'm always intrigued by the cinematographers week to week. This one was Annette Heilmich, who's done a few episodes of Thrones. Did some additional direction on Spider-Man 2, actually.
Okay.
But and now his watch is ended. Kissed by Fire. Last season, she did the director of photography for the Joffrey's death episode, the finale, The Mountain and the Viper.
Okay.
And this season, she does this episode and next episode, and she does 2 more in season 6. So very, very solid cinematographer across the scope of the show. And next episode, I remember specifically a few shots that are going to hit. So I'm very, very excited for that. But yeah, 9 out of 10 on this one, giving it a 90%. I dig. But yeah, with that, I think we'll conclude this episode of Winter is Blooming. If you would, head to patreon.com/pennybloompotter, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including all sorts of book reviews, movie reviews, comic book reviews, and the like. For $3 a month, you can support this podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money, and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast, and remember to leave a 5-star rate and review and to continue downloading as we continue on with our Winter is Blooming Game of Thrones rewatch. Next week is Season 5, Episode 4, as we said, Sons of the Harpy. Very, very excited for that. But in the meantime, this Wednesday we'll be continuing our top 100 favorite movies ever with Part 6, the 40s, 40 through 49. I'm very, very excited for that. We've done, 5 parts already. That took us through the bottom 50, but now we're in the top 50. And these movies are they're all great, but I've been rewatching stuff from my 40s, and I'm like, we're getting to the point where I can't boost shit up the list. It's like, this is where that movie belongs. I feel good about it. And it's nice to be reaching that point. Let's see. This Friday, we continue our comic book movie journey through film with our 30th installment in that project. It's Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, which I'm very, very excited about, to get the director's cut of that film. And, well, not even the director's cut, the Donner cut, because the official director of Superman 2 was Richard Lester.
Oh.
And Richard Donner he just kind of came in. He filmed enough to make his own cut of the movie, but some shit fell apart. So we'll talk about that on Friday. We'll get into all the fun stuff with that. Remember to stand in solidarity with SAG-AFTRA and the WGA, because they're asking for not very much from these studios, and they're getting very, very little. They're not getting any leeway, and it doesn't seem like there's any progress being made in any capacity, which blows, but it's pressuring the studios. They're losing money. And that's the point. I'm very, very happy with that. It's not for actors like Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, and these dudes making millions of dollars. It's for the guy who's getting dressed up in makeup to look like he's been flayed and hang from some sort of wiring system, like that. I'm assuming there's a dude in there. Maybe there's not. But if there is a dude in there, he deserves to be paid. That's not an easy job.
Wouldn't want to be
shit.
me.
The people who are stringing the dude up.
True.
They're not getting character names, but they deserve to be paid for their labor. And everyone involved deserves to be paid for their work. So asking not much for a lot of work. And I think that's important. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And it's even better luck to suck a dwarf's cock.